here with us? Rogers, can we start?
Yes.
Good evening, members. You're most welcome to today's ProDev Hour. We are privileged to have a great presenter in the house, and I would like us to welcome this day with a word of prayer. Let us pray. God, our loving Father, we thank you for the good health you have granted to us. We thank you for this provision of today. We invite you to be the chairperson of this meeting. Guide our discussions, guide all ideas that we're going to have, as this is very key in our operations. I pray, believing and trusting you've heard us through Christ our Lord. Amen. You're most welcome to today's ProDev Hour. It is a day that I would like to call it a special day in the life of Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union. This is being moderated by UPSTU Auma, who is the National Secretary for Education, Professional Standards and Discipline of Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union. Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union worked very hard and started a SACCO. I am happy to inform us that the SACCO is so far doing very well according to reports that we have received. The SACCO is receiving many members. The little money that was provided to the SACCO, we are blessed that it is growing. The members of the SACCO are beginning to realize their mandates. I have seen members are picking loans and making sure that they make developments out of it. However, I would like to also say that some of the things that happen at the SACCO, some of us are first timers. We do not understand how a SACCO should operate. We do not understand some of the policies. We do not understand how and why we should use some of the products that we get from the SACCO. Today we are privileged by Counsel Wamai, who is here and ready to help us understand some of our obligations, ready to help us understand certain things that as you pick a loan, as you work with the SACCO, you should take note of and be very careful with the operations. But above all, is going to help us see how we can progress very fast in our SACCO. Council, you are most welcome to meet Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union stakeholders for national development. I have not so much about you. Yes, Council, you are most welcome to today's ProDev Hour. You can now start your session.
Thank you. I don't know, am I loud and clear?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. My name is Timothy Wamayi. Thank you so much for this opportunity. First and foremost, I'm Timothy Wamayi. I'm a legal advisor to the SACCO. I also partner with Quasi Advocates, that is a duly registered and licensed law firm that handles all legal matters, especially land, corporate and commercial, and other fields of law. It is a pleasure to join you this evening, and I appreciate the opportunity and the fact that we are here to discuss responsible borrowing, understanding the benefits, risks, and legal consequences of SACCO loans. During this session, the moderator directed it would go from 8 to 9, I think because of time management. I'll use the time availed to me in the shortest time possible. I'll share practical legal insights relevant to our SACCO, clarify key legal issues affecting members, and I'll answer certain few questions. My aim this evening is to help the members to better understand the rights, responsibilities, and the legal framework that supports the sound governance and growth of the SACCO. So basically, we are going to discuss. I'll start with the responsible borrowing, and before we get to that, we need to know what is a loan. For starters, just to understand what is a loan, because before we go for it, do you know what you're going for? So a loan in simple terms is money advanced by a financial institution. It could be a bank, it could be a SACCO, like the one of UPSTU. It could also be a friend. We've heard of friendly loans. You could also get one from, I've talked about the bank, I've talked about microfinance institutions, then we have the SACCO or a friend. So this is money advanced to an individual under agreed terms and conditions with the obligation that it is repaid within a specific period of time, together with an interest and any applicable charges. So a loan is basically money advanced to you by an individual or a financial institution with an aim that that money will be repaid with certain terms and conditions, depending on who you're getting it from. Because different banks, different institutions have their terms and conditions. You execute an agreement, but it could be, let's assume it is just an individual. One will tell you, no, it's okay, you can give me that money, I'll pay it maybe in 2 months' time. That is understandable. You may not need to sign anything, but it does not mean you're not supposed to pay that money back. So you realize that as we move on, or it depends which institution you're approaching to acquire a given loan. So they execute what we call a contract. And in simple terms, a contract is a legally binding agreement. That is what we understand in law. An agreement that is executed between two persons of sound mind is a contract. So a loan agreement is also a contract. By virtue of an individual signing on that given agreement, it means you are okay, or you've consented to the terms and conditions of that given loan agreement. A loan is not free money. That is what you should understand. It is not free money. Yes, we know it is not free, but I think I need to emphasize a loan is not free money. It is a legal obligation because you promised this individual that I will return your money after this given time. When a member signs a loan agreement, they enter into a legally binding contract. I want to believe with that small insight, we now understand what a loan is. And I'll go to why do we borrow? Or why do members borrow money? Or why do Ugandans? Or why do individuals borrow money? We always borrow money for one, business expansion. If you have a business and you intend to expand, you'll get a loan to see that you expand on your business. Others borrow money to start businesses. Some people borrow money to do farming, education. Maybe you want to go for further studies. Let me acquire this loan. By the time I finish school, maybe I'll get a job that will pay off that given loan. Some people go for loans to construct or purchase homes. There are also loans for there are medical emergencies. Maybe you are in a state of emergency, you're sick, or your child or anyone around you that is sick, and you intend to get some money, you'll get a loan. Then you could also get a loan to pay your children's school fees, your sister, your brother, Then purchasing productive assets. One would say, no, let me buy a tractor. That is an asset. If you're a farmer, you buy a tractor to see that you expand. You have, sorry about that glitch. You have it in the shortest time possible. One would think of acquiring a tractor. That would be a productive asset. Then some people acquire loans to meet family emergencies. So basically, borrowing should ideally improve a person's financial position rather than worsen it. It is on judicial notice. There are people that get loans and start cursing the person that extended the loan to them. There's someone saying, "Oh, that person is so strict with their money. They are not good people. They are this and the other." But at the time of you going to acquire that loan, you were in good terms. You signed the loan expecting to pay. But then time comes, you realize you're not in position to clear that loan. So what we should have at the back of our minds before we go for any loan is, it is to improve the person's financial position rather than worsen it. So maybe, okay, now it may not, for instance, one is sick. There is no way it can improve your financial position, but it will save your life so that you can, continue living to work to improve your life in one way or the other. I'll go to the benefits of SACCO loans, and specifically UPSTU, because it is what we are discussing, believing that the members here subscribe to the SACCO. We are looking at, let me just give a small insight about the benefits of SACCO loans. We have, of course, I talked about business growth. Maybe you have a business or an existing business that you intend to inject in more money to have more sales. So the loan from UPSTU will enable a member to start or expand that given business. Maybe it's already existing, you just inject in some money, and then you increase on your sales. Maybe you want to start up a business, you come to UPSTU, you sign the necessary forms, and then you go ahead to start that business. Of course, the money includes buying stock, purchasing machinery, expanding premises, then hiring employees. So the aim of the money is to see that you expand and you grow financially. This creates employment for those that do not have, and then increases income on the owner of the business or the person that has acquired that given loan. Then you could also acquire the loan for agricultural development. Farmers use loans to purchase seeds, fertilizers, livestock. want to believe we are following to what the law expects of you before you get that loan. So you cannot tell us, oh, I got this money, I used it for A, B, C, D, but of course, maybe things failed, so I thought the business would work out, and it failed. So we are trying to list down the benefits of loans. We shall also talk about the effects or the bad side of acquiring loans. We'll discuss that. But I want to first talk about the benefits or what is expected of you, because before you come to acquire that loan, you have a positive attitude that maybe when I take this money, inject it in my business, I'll increase on my income. When I get this loan, I'm going to expand the premises where I'm operating from. So the second one is agricultural development. It includes the seeds, fertilizers, livestock, and the farm machinery. This increases the production and household income. Then another benefit is education. Loans assist families in paying school fees, university tuition, and professional training, with the belief that after school, you'll get a job and things will be good. So you realize that that is our third point, discussing the benefits of the loans. Education improves the future earning potential, because everyone goes to school with a belief that after school I'll get employed, and so then we'll go to home ownership. Maybe you've been renting, but then time comes, you realize, no, UPSTU can extend a loan. I can buy land and build, and you own a home. You can buy land, construct, or renovate the existing ones. Then we also have, I think, emergencies. Loans also can come through where emergencies, because we have natural disasters can come through. Maybe rain can come through and break down your house. You have no alternative. Run to UPSTU to extend a loan that can assist funeral expenses, because there is no death does not send a notice prior to its existence. So anything can come up, and maybe you're not in position to come through and save yourself. So UPSTU can come through, or you apply for that given loan, and in this case, it is an emergency loan. You get it it can also assist you under the medical treatment, funeral expenses, natural disasters. So those are circumstances under which you can acquire a loan, depending, because where you're standing is what makes you regard a given situation as an emergency. So emergencies, of course, require urgent financial assistance, something that cannot wait. Then we also look at another benefit is wealth creation. If invested wisely, loans generate profits that exceed the cost of borrowing. Examples include rental property, commercial farming, manufacturing, and retail shops or retail businesses. Then loans also improve standards of living. These are benefits of loans. Responsible borrowing enables families to improve housing, increase income, access health care, invest in children's education. So, like I want to believe those are the few highlights regarding the benefits of loans that I've highlighted, about 7 of them. Then, of course, where there are benefits, there are also negative effects. We have the negative effects of loans. Loans become harmful when borrowed irresponsibly. I'll repeat that. Loans become harmful when borrowed irresponsibly. Responsibly, I mean you wake up in the morning and say, I feel I need to borrow some money, maybe about 10 or 6 million. One, you do not know what you're going to use that money for, but you just feel maybe person A borrowed some money and you should also get a loan. Maybe a teacher calls you, hey, hello, sir, how are you? I applied and they gave me some 5 million. Then in the next day, you also say, no, let me go and get that loan. One, you've not planned. You do not know what you're going to use that money for. You do not know how you're going to pay back that money. Remember, we discussed this is money extended to you that has to be repaid because it is an obligation. So one of the negative effects is over borrowing. I'll start with over borrowing because you see, when you get a loan, when you're borrowing beyond one's repayment capacity, you borrow money and you exceed what you can pay. We've seen people that borrow money from financial institutions. Mainly, I've seen microfinance. You get money from one microfinance, but because this given microfinance is exerting a lot of tension onto you, and then you run to another to get another loan to pay a loan, because that is over borrowing. Those are multiple loans. You see, time comes, you cannot tell me. Of course, by the time you come to the person that you borrowed from the first time, they'll tell you, no, there are interests. And then maybe the other person has borrowed you about 3 million and you thought you're going to pay 3 million and that will be the end of it. You realize this person is saying, no, there is an interest of about 700,000. And then maybe you'll think of going to another, the third one. These are 3 people that are after you, that want you to pay that money. Then you start cursing life. You say, no, I think money lenders are very bad people here, there. And then by the time you know it, you're running to counsel. Counsel is telling you, no, what we're going to do, you need to give me some money so that we can start to see how we can assist you. And see, there are people, when you're looking for money in times of emergency, some people are so desperate that you can even sign an agreement of selling. I, so and so, have sold to so and so my land. And this person tells, when you pay my money, I'll give back this agreement to you. So out of desperation, you end up selling or transferring your property. And you say, no, I've signed the transfer forms, but in an event I clear, they will return them to me. But if you fail or default to pay that given loan, of course, the land will be taken. And time comes, you'll find your children, your family being thrown out because you wanted a loan that you had not planned for. Then, of course, I've discussed borrowing to pay other loans. You cannot borrow money to pay a loan. Yes, situations come through whereby you cannot avoid. But then, if you could sit and plan right, how am I going to get this loan? Why am I getting it? How am I going to pay it? The moment you answer those questions, as we're going to discuss, you realize you'll try to minimize some of those risks. So another negative effect is loan default. This is very common because loan default, this occurs where a borrower fails to pay according to the loan agreement. Remember, when you signed on that loan agreement, it means you are very okay with the terms and conditions. One, the interest. If this person tells you, maybe I'm lending at 12% per month, you say, no, it's okay, maybe I'll pay that money, you sign. So by signing, because the law tells us you are bound by your signature, the moment you sign and say it is me that has consented, that's why I keep telling you, sign on this page, sign on the other, sign on this. See, some microfinance institutions, those are money lenders, make you to hold the agreement, you take photos, you stand by your house, you take photos. They are doing that so that you do not say you were forced at some time. Then they look for a guarantor to come through and guarantee that indeed this person will pay. We shall discuss guarantors and their responsibilities. So loan default, of course, that is where you fail to pay a loan according to the terms and conditions in the loan agreement. Of course, there are consequences. If you default, there are penalties, additional interests, then recovery costs. You see, when you default, of course, there are also the penalties include, let's assume you borrowed 3 million. There's an interest of about 300,000, but you've failed to pay the principal and the interest. There's a penalty. They'll tell you, okay, we have slapped maybe 200,000. The fact that you failed to pay, okay, you come back and we restructure. The lending institution will tell you, let's sit and restructure. Restructuring means you need to extend some money, or you need to add on some money to see that you save yourself out of this loan burden. What's the added interest? If I lent you at maybe 12%, I'll tell you, no, let the balance be at 15 or 20 because you've defaulted. You have defied the terms and conditions as earlier on agreed. Then there are recovery costs. There are people that become so stubborn that you have to hire a bailiff. But by the time they hire a bailiff, that means one, as a person, you failed to present yourself to this money lender or the lender to discuss the payment terms. What should we do? I gave you security, yes, but I've failed to pay. What do we do? But when you go silent, that is when this person will go to court. And going to court means those are fees. This person is paying a lawyer. I lent you 3 million, but I'm now paying a lawyer to recover the 3 million. I cannot ask for 3 million. I'll tell court, no, let this person raise about 5 million because I paid the lawyer, I've wasted my time, and this is a business. So I've made losses. You realize that the recovery costs will be paid by you. A person that was supposed to pay 3.3 million, you end up paying 6 million. You start cursing the money lender, and then maybe the SACCO, and then all those other institutions that lend money. Then financial stress, because you cannot tell me you'll be peaceful. That is another negative effect of the loans. Financial stress. You cannot rest because you're sleeping, and of course they are calling you, hello, your loan is due, you need to pay. So you cannot rest as an individual because your family will be looking at you. What is wrong with daddy? What is wrong with mommy? What is wrong? So something that is not. So that comes as a result of poor planning. So, and the heavy loan obligations often result into anxiety, depression, family conflicts. Even where your partner is talking about something that you can simply respond to, but because of the pressure that you're handling regarding the loan, you end up insulting the other, fighting, and by the time you know it, you've lost a family just because of a loan. Then loss of property. That is also because if you gave in your property as collateral, of course at the time of borrowing the money, you have that perception that I will pay, but time comes and you fail to pay. Of course, the lender will look at your property that you gave in as collateral to recover their money. So where collateral has been pledged, default may lead to its realization in accordance with the loan agreement because those terms are there. If I fail to pay by this time, they will sell my property to recover the money. It could be land, it could be a motor vehicle, it could be a building or an equipment. So then another effect could be reduced income. Monthly loan deductions reduce disposable income. This may affect family welfare, school fees. Let's assume you're earning 1 million, but then they are supposed to, the lender or the SACCO has to deduct about 400,000. You end up getting 600. But that does not in any way reduce on the responsibilities that you have as an individual. Then there's also damage to credit reputation. Because when you come to me, maybe you paid in a funny way, I will tell the other person, no, that person does not pay. So your reputation in society becomes, it becomes compromised. Because whoever you run to, say, that person does not pay. Please do not. So you realize that your reputation as an individual, it could, long ago, we would look at, it is men that would battle out those issues. But of late, I'm seeing women. You find a woman running about 6 loans in different lending institutions. And, it compromises. Even if you apply for a job somewhere, what if this money lender comes? Because if they're demanding, you cannot tell them, no, this person is in office, they're at work, please don't come for them. If a bailiff has been paid or given a court order from court, go and arrest that person and bring them here. You cannot dodge. Even if you are in office, even if you are the HR, you are anything, the law remains the law. So why would we wait for all that to happen? You see. So I will discuss the legal consequences of loan default. As a lawyer, it is important to explain that every loan agreement creates legal rights and obligations. The possible consequences include, because when you default, we write demand notices. And it is our practice as a SACCO that the manager of the SACCO writes to you a demand notice informing you about your loan and the fact that you've defaulted for a given period of time. Then I also have second notices. We write for the second time. So when you fail to respond to the second notice, that is when they hand over the matter to the lawyer. They tell, oh no, counsel, please, you get to this person and we see, because they have defaulted and they are not communicating. That is when we write our third demand notice. And the moment we write ours, it takes only 14 days, depending on the circumstances. It is either 14 or 7 days. And if I write mine, the moment the 14 elapse, I'll file the matter in court, saying this person has defaulted and we want them to pay. You see, but remember, the manager wrote 2 letters, the first and the second. So if you fail to comply to those 2, that is when. But even if I write to you within these 14 days as a lawyer, within the 14, if you can discuss and see how to iron out issues, you can come to the office, you restructure with the manager and see how you're going to pay this loan amicably to avoid the court proceedings, because they work with time. Then another consequence will be penalties. After the penalties, of course, the legal proceedings. If you go to court, I write to you, you write to us, we file a plaint, you file a defense, we proceed. But at the end of the day, whoever loses will pay the other. And in most cases, of course, we have a loan agreement that is laying down the terms and conditions. If you fail, in case you lose, you'll have to pay. You'll compensate the SACCO for, one, the time. Secondly, you pay the money. It does not put away the loan that you acquired. The debt will still stand even if we go to court, unless the SACCO loses something that is very, very, very rare, because there's a loan agreement that you signed plus your guarantor. Of course, there are court judgments where appropriate. If court issues a judgment, court will say, no, let that person give the SACCO such and such monies. Recover against guarantors where permitted. So you realize that even a guarantor, by signing for that given person, you also affected. If the borrower defaults and the guarantor is available, or let's assume the borrower has failed to pay, and we realize the security is not sufficient enough to cover the loan, we shall look at what the guarantor possesses. We shall take over and then have this money get back to the SACCO so that another teacher can borrow the same money the other day. But if you take the 3 million and you default, then we go to court and we pursue for some good time, because if we fail to recover what we thought we would get, we'll look at your guarantor. So you realize that even a guarantor has a responsibility or has a role to play. Before you sign for someone, it's not just a matter of signing for your friend or a brother or a sister to get money, but you also have an obligation. You can also keep reminding this person, please, have you paid your loan? How far have you gone with your loan? Not just signing and then you keep quiet. Another consequence is enforcement against pledged security in accordance with the law. Of course, we shall not just wake up and sell. We shall advertise. We say, no, this person pledged this, but then we're advertising. If anyone can buy this. So even if your house is at 100 million and you pledged it, the law dictates, as long as I'm recovering what I'm demanding, that is all. I can even sell that house at 20 million if I'm demanding 10 million. The other 10, I will deposit on your account even without your consent. You just receive a message from the bank, you've received 10 million, and the next day you need to get out of that house. You find someone writing bank property for sale. See that embarrassment alone, the neighborhood, the children, and the family. See, ignoring loan obligations can make matters worse. So members should communicate. You need to communicate with the lender. be it the SACCO, be it the bank, be it the... So when you realize things are not good, maybe you borrowed and your salary was security, but time has come, you've lost your job, immediately inform the other person. Inform that institution, I've lost my job. But of course, you cannot just, of course, the lender will find out, is it true this person lost their job? Because losing a job is not just by word of mouth. You wake up and say, no, I'll use this as an excuse not to pay. We'll go ahead and find out, is it true this person lost a job? If they lost, what can we look at? Because the lender is not ready to lose out anything, because this is a business. They need to keep in business so they can lend out to other people. I'll briefly go to I'll discuss something about the responsibilities of a borrower. A borrower, one, should read the loan agreement carefully. You should not rush. Yes, the desperation is there. I need this money urgently. You see, we've had people, someone calls you, counsel, please come and witness this agreement for me. Can you hurry because I need to buy this car before time goes? No, let's first read the agreement. You'll go and buy. So you need to read the agreement from page to page. Understand the interest rate. Is it for? Calculate and see how much are you going to pay at the end of it. Know the repayment schedule. When are you supposed to pay? In an event you fail to pay within that time, what happens? Borrow only what you can repay, but don't borrow and say, I think there's a deal I'm expecting that will bring some money. See, there are also people who operate under deals. You want a deal to come and pay the loan, something that is not certain at all. Then use the money for its intended purpose. If you say the money is going to buy land, you buy that land. At least in case things don't go right, you can sell off the land and reduce on the pressure. But you cannot say I got money to buy land, but then as I was moving, someone was selling hens and I decided to buy hens. There are people who borrow money and you go into you buy, you do some, you do some farming, but then you've not understood how do they rear this chicken. Time will come and maybe you fail to vaccinate them and they die. You will not come to this and tell them, because when the SACCO is giving money, it is not their responsibility to know whether you are an expert via looking after chicken or not. You borrowed and told us, no, you're going to do farming. So we believe you're good at that. Then keep proper financial records. If you've been paying, there are receipts. If someone pays, there is proof. So when time comes, in an event that you've defaulted, you can come and say, no, but I've been paying. In most cases, courts look at the willingness to pay. Has this person been paying? So can we maybe give them 1 or 2 months to see how they clear the balance? Maybe something happened. So you need to keep records. So the law looks at the willingness to pay. Are you willing to pay or not? Then I'll have something about, then I think maybe you can add, I've discussed informing the lender in case of any financial difficulties. In case you get an emergency, maybe there's something that is hindering you from clearing the loan in time, inform the lender. Then maintain honesty with guarantors. If you fail to pay at some point, maybe you defaulted, pursuant to the schedule, inform your guarantor. Say, I was supposed to maybe pay 500,000, but I've gotten 300. You get. So there should be that communication between the guarantor and the borrower. Even the guarantor, you can call the borrower and say, are you paying the money? Can I have proof? You see, you lose nothing finding out whether this person is paying, because in an event they fail to pay, it is you, the guarantor, that will be liable. Then I have about 2-3 responsibilities of a guarantor. Understand the amount you guarantee. As a guarantor, know how much this person is borrowing. In fact, you need to read the loan agreement, know the terms, know the interest rate before you sign. Assess the borrower's ability to pay. Is this person you're standing in for able to pay that given money they are getting? Then read the implications. What will happen to the guarantor? Those documents have the roles of the guarantor. Most of the loan agreements have those roles in an event of default. What happens to you, the guarantor? Keep copies of all documents. You lose nothing photocopying that loan agreement as a guarantor, and you keep, because it also saves you at some point. I don't know. Are we still on?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we
Yes,
are on.
please.
I want to
Can
be
I?
sure we are following.
Yes, we are on.
Okay, please. I'm trying to rush so that we finalize and I get some questions from. Then, of course, as a SACCO, we also have responsibility that I need to lay to you, the members. That one, ups to SACCO is a responsible SACCO. Before you acquire a loan, manager and the accountants around explain the terms clearly to you. And in case you do not understand anything, you have a right to ascertain, what does this mean? What does this clause mean? If you're charging at maybe this interest rate, then what happens? Is it on reducing balance, or it is until I complete the loan? Conduct affordability assessment. I remember talking about getting a loan, and you say there's a deal I'm expecting. In case that deal goes through, I'll pay the loan. You need to be sure, can you clear that loan in an event the time is due for you to clear? Then that is on the part of the borrower now. But we're discussing responsibilities of a SACCO. It is our role to explain. Find the chairman. You can ask him, what do you mean by this? What do you, this clause is a bit complicated. What do you mean? So the chairman, the manager, and anyone around, as long as they are attached to the SACCO, they can explain to you the terms clearly. It is their role to explain. It is also our role as a SACCO to conduct affordability. Can this person handle this? Can they pay this money? Yes, they're earning maybe 3 to 4 million, but they want maybe 40 or 20 million. Can they pay this money? In an event, maybe something happens, they're natural occurrences. Anything can happen, and maybe you're not in position to work or clear the loan. What do we do? It is also our responsibility to charge transparent interests, because there are loans that go up to 3. I've seen 1, 2, 3%. That I think for the emergency, and I think the manager is in a better position to explain all that. But there are loans I've seen as low as 3%. There are those that go for 5%. So they look at the affordability. They charge transparent interest that are understandable, that anyone can afford. Then it's also their responsibility to treat members fairly during recovery. That's why we write the first letter, the second letter, and then the third one. So all these letters, they try to treat you them, because we can discuss as individuals, because before you acquired the loan, we discussed. So even recovery, we can still discuss as long as you're being truthful. Then there's also an element of confidentiality with their clients. That if someone has borrowed some money, we cannot wake up and say, no, this person, we put in WhatsApp groups, we put in the paper, this person has failed to pay our money. No. I think that is not the role of they are supposed to be confidential between you, and maybe it is your guarantor that is also aware of that. You see. So it is the role of the SACCO to protect the members' information. Then offer financial literacy training. The SACCO has been moving around the schools and sensitizing people about this, and then the fact that you can come through as long as you're a member, and then you qualify for that given loan. So the sensitization has been moving on. Then we're also complying with the applicable laws and the regulations of Uganda. Then some few causes of loan defaults: poor financial planning, we discussed that, loss of employment, business failure. You can invest given business and it fails. Misuse of loan funds. So these are some of the causes. What makes you to fail to pay that money and blocked, that can also lead you to default. Misuse of funds. You've gotten money to go and invest in a business, but then you see someone moving around with a Subaru or a Mark X. Then you say, oh, I need to get this. By the time you know it, our biology teacher is cruising Mark X. You see, then multiple borrowing. You have money from this institution, the other. You're borrowing money to pay off a loan. That can also lead to loan defaults. Then gambling. Because I'm listing this because these are the common issues we face. Maybe you've borrowed money of 20 million and you feel like you need to multiply. You take it somewhere and issues and things do not go good. You end up losing the 20. You expected more 20, but then you've gotten 0 out of it. Alcohol and abuse. You get money, you sign, okay, this is for development. But then you end up going to buy alcohol. Then also loan defaults. We also have medical emergencies. Maybe you're going to, you pay for the medical bill for someone. Unfortunately, this person passes on and maybe they are the sole breadwinner. You expect that maybe when they get fined, they will come back and pay off the loan, but they fail too. Then family conflicts. You borrowed money, and then because the law commands that, for instance, you're borrowing money, we need to seek what we call spousal consent. If you're giving out, you're borrowing money, and the security is the house that you're staying in with your wife. The law dictates that we need spousal consent. Your wife should sign on and say, no, it is okay. I've consented to my husband or my wife acquiring a loan using our house as collateral. So basically, those are some of the common causes of loan defaults. So then I'll discuss some practical tips before taking any loan. The questions, I promise to give you some few tips before you take any loan. Ask yourself, why do I need this loan? That is the first question. Is it necessary? Then will it generate income? If I get this money and may put in gambling, is it going to generate income? Yes or no? If I get this money and then I invest in chicken for the very first time, you borrowed 5 million, you've injected and it has failed. What next? The next question you should ask yourself, can I comfortably repay? Will I still remain the same person after paying off this loan? You see. But of course, someone borrows money in the next 2 years, you start hating everyone that has written to you. Say, no, that SACCO is not good. That bank is not good. Can you still pay and remain? Because the purpose of getting a loan is to see that you improve your financial stability. But you've gotten the money, you went with two buildings before you borrowed the loan. After that, you've lost everything. You've gone back into tenancy. Have I read every clause? Have you read every clause of the loan agreement? See, before you take that loan, have you read have you understood the interest? What are the penalties in case of default? Who will be affected if I fail to pay? Have you thought about your guarantor? You see, the reputation as an individual, because the fact when you fail to, of course, it is the guarantor and you that will be embarrassed. You see. Then members should prepare budgets. That is, of course, after asking yourself, can I pay? Why am I getting this loan? And then you prepare a budget. Then you save regularly. From what you get, you save and say, okay, with an intention to say that you clear up the loan. Then you borrow only when necessary, not just borrowing because maybe a colleague borrowed some money. Avoid unnecessary spending. Maybe you've gotten 10 million to buy land. By the time you realize you have 5 million. But then the motive was to buy land. You've spent 5 million, even if they tell you sit and account for it, you cannot. But the loan still stands because it is an obligation. So members should also invest in productive activities. invest in something that you believe can bring back some profits. Then keep proper records as because before you acquire, or even after acquiring, keep those records so that you avoid future issues. I have a case study. A member A borrowed 20 million to purchase dairy cows. The business generated enough income to repay the loan, expand operations, and increase household. That is the first person. This person borrowed 20 million, he purchased cows. The business generated enough income to repay and expand the operation and increase household income. The lesson here is productive borrowing creates wealth. After buying the cows, you start milking and you sell the milk, you pay off the loan, and you still remain with your cows. The loan is paid, but the cows are there. Then we have person B that borrows 20 million still to finance a lavish celebration. Let it be introduction, a wedding. I'm not against weddings and introductions, but you cannot get a loan to pay or to go for a lavish celebration and purchase luxury items, maybe a car. You bought a car, then you bought a car, but then maybe you're renting. Anything can happen. You're always on the road. A car can crash and get done. And to make matters worse, it can leave you alive, and then because the other people they will not want to know whether you got an accident or not. What they want is their money, because in the agreement there was no clause for the accident. You see. Then on the part of the wedding, we've seen people that borrow money to finance weddings or introductions. At the end of it all, you've divorced. You've gotten family issues and you've divorced this person. See, one, the trauma you'll have alone is just enough. You see, whenever you look at maybe the marriage certificate, you feel like tearing it. So borrowing for non-productive purposes can lead to financial and legal difficulties. So, okay. I'm concluding. So, members, loans are among the most powerful financial tools available. Through a SACCO, through the bank, or even money lenders, when used wisely. They help families to educate their children, grow businesses, acquire assets, improve agriculture, and create long-term wealth, like we've seen a case study. However, loans come with legal and financial responsibilities. Failure to meet the obligations can result into penalties, recovery. You see the stress. Then it also stresses the guarantors and the loss of pledged assets. Because when you pledge that you will pay, and then you give away your property as security, in case you default, the property will have to go. The guarantor will be disturbed, because time will come, they look for you. Even when we go to court, we say, no, the guarantor come through. You see. So responsible borrowing begins with informed decision. Have you thought about that loan before you get it? Borrow only when you need, and invest wisely, not in everything. Invest in something you believe. Yes, they are natural currencies, but at least invest in something that you believe can generate income and leave you in a better position as you were before you acquired the loan. And then honor your repayment commitments. If you say by every third of every month, I will be paying such and such amount, you need to honor that commitment and then seek assistance early if financial challenges arise. You've lost a job, you've got an accident, you communicate to that person. Tell them I've had issues. Yes, there are money lenders that are a bit rough. They may not want to listen, but you do that. If it is better, do it in writing. Write and tell someone, no, you go. Because time will come, they will go to court and say, no, this person never told me anything. Write a letter and tell them I'm ABCD. If you got an accident, you're bedridden, take a photo and attach. Because in law, we believe, we operate so much on evidence. Where is the proof that you were sick? Take a photo and attach. I informed this gentleman on such and such a day I was in the hospital, and I needed him to understand that I was not in position to fulfill my commitment. Then by so doing, you strengthen not only your own financial future, but also the stability and sustainability of that lending. Because you see, when we give to you a loan as a SACCO and you repay, another teacher will come and borrow that money to help them. But if we give you and you fail to pay, of course we shall run after you, go to court, and here, there, and then of course you will tell another teacher, oh, that SACCO is very bad. But if you operate in accordance with the few things I've discussed here, such occurrences, I want to thank you for the attention, and I welcome any questions. And as regards the topic, anything that you need to understand, that is all from me as of now. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Counsel, for the wise counsel you have given us this evening. You'd realize that this area has been a heartache to many of us. We want to add something on to what we get as teachers in that field of teaching, and the only option is going in for a loan. But not all of us have done accounts. Not all of us are so much maybe exposed to this field. And the way you have brought it today, it has helped me personally to really understand. I have many loans I've picked, but I think I was not understanding why I needed to do that. And I can now say capably that from here I can walk a good journey. But there is one thing I was yearning to hear from you. We have always been told that the loans we pay, for instance, the salary loans and other loan products, are always insured. Eh? Yeah,
Yes.
they are insured. And what benefits do we get from such loans? You have kept stressing that please pick a loan when you know what to do with it, so that you don't run bankrupt before you could pay the loan. If I fail to pay back my loan, can that insurance come in and have a cover-up? Thank you. As I open the floor for many people with questions, please, this is our time to interact with us. Raise up your hand and ask your question. I know the time has gone, but we still have some few minutes we can interact with him on a few issues. So members, feel free to raise up your hand and ask questions that you could have. Thank you. I still see no hand up, and Counsel, I welcome you. You can give response to the one I've just asked. Welcome. Oh, there is a hand here. Mr. Greer, please, you can unmute yourself and talk.
Okay, thank you, members, and thank you, the council member who delivered something very well to us. This evening, there's something very interesting which triggered me in terms of the records when you are paying loan. It gave me an idea that if our SACCO team, including me, can take this leave of saying you report early when you fail to pay the loan at installment at a particular time. So I was like, if that need be, why can't the SACCO, or is the SACCO in a position to set a leave or some 2 or 1 month interval in the process of payment of loan to the SACCO members? Amidst monitoring the interest, especially if like you got a emergency loan, the interest is calculated at once. So if you happen to delay 1 month in the process of paying the loan, can't that interest be reserved for the time it's going to be paid. Secondly, if you also pay early before the time the interest arrives, I mean, the day of installment is recalled, why can't the interest be removed also? So those are some things that I observed there. Thank you very much. Let's continue sharing.
Thank you. I see in the chat here, someone says, salary loan, who pays the loan in case of death from benefits? This is one question I see in the inbox here. I can still see no other hand up. I welcome Counsel to give response to this few questions. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome.
I'll start with yours.
Yes,
If the loans are insured, who benefits and how do we? Okay, it's cheap, fast, takes so long. If it is insured, so one, you get your money swiftly. That is the first thing, because there is that there is a presumption that at the end of the day, in case of any default, that money will be recovered from the insurance company. That is on the side of the borrower. You know, it is cheap and fast for the borrower. Then on the side of the lenders, the SACCO, safety is guaranteed that at the end of it all, the money will be recovered. So we are getting this money. I don't know if members have approached the money lenders. You find someone at 15%, but then the loans with the SACCO, these are cheap and then they are fast. And the SACCO does not need to come to Busia to ascertain that this person have the property they're talking about. They have told us ABCD. Is it true do they attend class? Are they getting salary? How much are they getting? So if you tell us, one, you are a government employee and there is a number you avail to the office, the SACCO office. So there's that deduction. If they say, okay, every month we shall be getting this from this person's salary. And then there's also insurance. In case you lose that job, the insurance company will chip in to put that in order. So insured loans are cheap and fast to you, the borrower. And then to the lending institution or the SACCO, it is where the SACCO is guaranteed that it will get its money at the end of the day. Then there is a gentleman, I didn't capture his name, but he was talking about the late payment and early payment. If I pay early, then why don't you put away the interest? See, this is a SACCO that is whose motive is to grow as a SACCO, and it is through the interests that the SACCO is to grow. So even if you borrow this money and say, even if you borrow it today and you're returning it tomorrow, if the interest is 3%, we shall get that and compute and get the interest. And it is that interest that is helping the SACCO run its duties, pay off the staff, maybe move to the fields to sensitize you. Because if the SACCO started with 1 million and the next year or a year after next year we are getting that the SACCO is still at 1 million, then we shall not grow. So that interest has to be there so that members can come again. If we lend to 6 people this year, next year we want to give out to about 20 people. So the interest keep accumulating to help the SACCO grow. I want to believe I've answered you regarding that early payment. So the interest has to be paid. So to see that the SACCO keeps running. I don't know if we have another question. I would respond to that as well as soon as possible. Do we have another question?
Just an inquiry. Did you respond to this we had in the chat about salary loans? Who pays it? Who pays the loan in case of death from benefits? Is it from benefits you get, or
Thank you.
that is the question in the chat? Thank you.
Okay. Now a salary loan, of course, this is a loan you acquire, and your salary is security to cover up that given loan. And in an event of demise, of course, one, we've just talked about the insurance. These loans are insured. It is a bit. It's of course, when one passes on, your family will take over all the responsibilities and the duties. The SACCO can pursue. In normal circumstances, the administrators of the estate of that given person that has passed on is supposed to pay and then demand. When you become an administrator of the late, you take on their duties and responsibilities. If this person had money that was supposed to pay out to someone, you're supposed to pay that man as an administrator. If they were supposed to get this money, some money from somewhere, you're supposed to get it, being by virtue of being an administrator. But remember, our loans as a SACCO are secured loans. So it might be, if the SACCO tries and does not get any information from the deceased's family, of course the insurance company will come through. But remember, the insurance company will go down to the grassroots to ascertain, did this person die? Did they leave any benefits? If they have the benefits, the insurance company will indeed recover. Because I've seen some that even caveat the letters of administration. They say, no, until you pay this money, that's when you can. So as a SACCO, we are safe because the loans will be insured. The insurance company will clear off the SACCO, and then the insurance company will deal with the estate or the administrators of the deceased. I believe I've responded to that as well. I'm seeing a hand. Oh, maybe someone lowered it already. I thought
Is
we're
the
still
worst
up.
one?
Okay.
What's one, Martin? You're welcome.
Okay.
Yes, Madam Betty. Good evening, colleagues and everyone.
Yes.
I have two questions to Counsel.
Yes.
One, Counsel, you were not so clear on who pays the loan, this salary loan, in case a teacher loses a job. Genuinely, who pays that loan? Is it the insurance, or the insurance comes in to look for the teacher who lost the job? Then another issue is sometimes local governments delay to remit this money to the SACCOs. They can take like 2 or 3 months to remit that money that was deducted from the teacher. And what SACCOs do, if they were supposed to receive some money for a given month, they do add interest on that money. Now, does it affect the teacher? Is it the teacher who suffers that interest, or it is the SACCO that would get away of covering up that interest? Those are my two questions. Otherwise, I'm so appreciative for the discussion of that day.
Thank you, Martin. Welcome, Counsel, to respond to his question.
Hello?
Yes, please.
Second question.
Yes, Counsel, welcome.
Thank you. I didn't get the second question. Maybe I only heard the other first one. The one he said I was not clear.
Maybe if I can repeat the second question.
Yes, please. On the issue
The second question was, the second question was, at times districts take long to remit deducted money for their loans to the
Yes.
respective SACCOs. And yet in the agreement, when these SACCOs don't receive the money on the specified date or at the end of the month, there is some interest, a charge the borrower must suffer. Now, is it me to suffer that charge, or it is the SACCO getting away of recovering that charge from the employer? Because it wouldn't be me, the teacher, who has told the district to delay to remit that money. So is it me, the teacher, to suffer, or it is the district to suffer that charge?
Thank you so much for that. I will start with that. First and foremost, the loan agreement is between you and the SACCO. So in an event of delay, that's why I was telling you, in case of delay, you need to communicate to the SACCO immediately and tell them, no, there are delays from the district by this given period, and the manager or the accountant available will have to advise on that. So communication between the lender and the borrower is also key. You need to discuss, because these are human beings. You interface and discuss, and you tell them the issue at hand, because those are common issues. They happen in most of the districts all over the country. There are delays, but then if we discuss, I doubt if the management will not accommodate you. They will.
That done, Counsel. Thank you very much, members. I do not see any hand up, and I can have the assumption that all questions have been answered. In case there are more questions, please, you can use our SACCO forum to discuss some of these things. If maybe there are those taxing one, we can forward it to Counsel. I take this opportunity this evening to thank you very much, Counsel. I don't know if maybe you still have some concluding remarks to make. I request that you can make it in 1 minute or two. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. The concluding remarks will still based on, I think, from what the gentleman has just discussed. Communication is key. When you borrow money, it should not be something that is, there should not be a war. If you fail to pay or you do not have the money within the stipulated period, should not be a war with the person that gave out money to you. You need to communicate, and communicate in time. If it requires you to move there physically, please come through. There is no police station at the SACCO offices. I have not seen one. Then another issue will be borrow because you have a plan, not merely because you qualify for the loan. A loan should help you build wealth, improve your livelihood, and meet the essential needs. Always read the loan agreement carefully, borrow within your repayment capacity, and then honor your obligation. If you say I'll pay within this period, pay that money. Nothing will come up. And then communicate with the SACCO promptly if challenges arise. That one I will repeat. Communicate with the SACCO promptly if challenges arise. The numbers, I'm sure they are everywhere. You can talk to them. Find one person that is flexible with you. Discuss with them. But keeping in mind, responsible borrowing strengthens your financial future and contributes to the long-term sustainability of the SACCO. If you borrow and pay back, we shall be able to give out to 2 people. If the 2 people pay back, we shall give out to 4 people, and our SACCO will grow. That is all from me. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much, Counsel, for helping us through this. I take the opportunity to thank all those who have participated. And I know we can still access this same information on our app, UPSTU.org. You can always listen so that we get to understanding the right direction. Thank you very much, everyone. I pray that the good Lord that has guided us through this meeting sees us through the night and for other programs ahead of us. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.